Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're setting aside the rigid rules of textbook physics to explore an absolutely fascinating conceptual possibility, the elastic fabric of cosmic dimension. We aren't just looking at standard, everyday data today. Instead, we're diving into a beautifully complex theoretical framework that asks us to completely reimagine the very foundation of the universe we live in.
Think about this for a second. What if the empty space around us isn't empty at all? I mean, we're so incredibly accustomed to thinking of space as a mere container, right? Just an empty stage where the actors, the stars, the planets, the galaxies, and us perform our cosmic play. But what if we've literally been looking at it backward this whole time? What if the stage itself is alive, reacting, and actively participating in the performance? Okay, let's dive into this. Chapter 1, The Mystery of Reality. We're looking beyond the observable universe. Imagine spacetime as a living, breathing fabric. Human beings have created some incredibly powerful maps of reality. Physics has given us the tools to peer all the way back to the dawn of time and to look deep, deep down into the hearts of atoms. But right now, at the very edges of our maps, there are profound mysteries. So try to imagine spacetime not as some cold, dead void mapped by rigid mathematical grids, but as a living, breathing fabric, a dynamic, woven entity that can bend, stretch, ripple, and react. We're exploring a massive conceptual shift here, from a universe that simply is to a universe that does.
Which brings us to Chapter 2, Limits of Current Physics, and what happens when the standard models leave us wondering.
Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is how it frames the problem. Traditionally, on side A, the standard interpretation views space-time as an empty void governed by strict, unyielding mathematical dimensions. And hey, it's incredibly effective for our current physics models. We use general relativity for the massive cosmic scale and quantum mechanics for the incredibly tiny scale. But as you might know, those models notoriously don't play well together. They leave these massive, glaring gaps. It's highly effective, sure, but perhaps a bit sterile. But what if we look at reality through side B, the elastic framework? This speculative alternative proposes a dynamic, multidimensional web. It's a completely different conceptual bridge for visualizing the physics of our world. Chapter 3, the elastic multidimensional fabric. Let's examine this new proposed structure. Before we go any deeper, let's be clear and treat this purely as a massive what if to stretch our understanding rather than some proven final theory. So what is it? The elastic framework is a speculative model proposing that spacetime behaves as a dynamic, elastic, multidimensional structure rather than an empty stage. Think of it not as a vacuum, but as a dense, invisible network of tension and release. It suggests the cosmos actually possesses an inherent, deeply complex elasticity. Let's move through this and see how it builds, creating a unified picture across all scales of reality. Step 1. Macroscopically, we have the observable universe, the massive galaxies and superclusters we can easily see. But step 2, if we zoom way, way in, we find the hypothetical microscopic elastic web acting as the underlying scaffolding. And finally, step 3, from the movements of that deeper web, the emergent vibrations in structures, the particles and forces we experience every single day are actually born. Moving right along to Chapter 4, Strings as Emergent Vibrations, or Ripples in the Cosmic Web. If you follow modern theoretical physics at all, you've definitely heard of string theory, the idea that the fundamental ingredients of reality are microscopically small, vibrating loops of energy. Well, this model suggests that string theory-like behavior could emerge from deeper elastic dynamics. In this hypothetical setup, those famous strings aren't actually the absolute bottom layer of reality. Instead, string-like behavior might just be a symptom, a consequence of something even more fundamental stretching and moving underneath it all. So the strings are just the vibrations. Think of a guitar. When you pluck it, you hear a note, right? But the note isn't the string itself. The note is the vibration moving through the air. This framework proposes that the fundamental building blocks of our entire universe might simply be emergent ripples, mere echoes, traveling through a much deeper, multidimensional elastic fabric. Chapter 5, The Architecture of Geometry, Shaping the Macro from the Micro. Okay, so if the deepest level of reality is this microscopic network, how does it theoretically give rise to the massive, sprawling structures of the universe? Well, this framework builds a really beautiful conceptual bridge. First, it suggests that macroscopic geometry, literally the curving shape of space around stars and planets, emerges directly from this microscopic elasticity. Second, it explores the potential multidimensional origins of dark energy. And third, it links that tiny microscopic string behavior directly back to vast cosmic structures. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the biggest problems in physics right now. On side A, standard physics views dark energy essentially as an unexplained constant. It's just a placeholder for whatever is causing the universe's expansion to accelerate, but the exact mechanics remain a total mystery. But look at side B. This framework offers a fascinating alternative. What if dark energy is actually the physical, multidimensional, elastic tension of the web itself? The inherent stretchiness of this underlying fabric could literally be the mechanical force driving that cosmic acceleration. Which leads us to Chapter 6, an endless cosmic question, the unfinished tapestry of reality.
So the crucial point is, we are observing an unfinished tapestry. Engaging with speculative models like this one is absolutely crucial. Not because they give us definitive, neat little answers right now, but because they remind us of how much is left to discover. This elastic framework is a profound thought experiment meant to expand our visual imagination. It's an invitation to visualize a universe that is intimately interconnected, dynamic, and responsive in ways our current equations just might not fully capture yet.
So, I want to leave you staring into the metaphorical abyss of space with this awe-inspiring question. If space-time is indeed a living, elastic web, what else is waiting to be felt in its vibrations? Thank you so much for exploring with us today. Keep questioning the very nature of reality, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.